Well, you thought that Mérida was going to be the place for you, but now you realize that things change in life and you need to move somewhere else. What's going to happen with the house that you bought? That's not a problem. You are in the right place. Welcome to Jesus Gastelum, your Mayan Realtor, the one that will be selling your house here in Merida Yucatan or the Yucatecan Coast. Hello community, how are you guys? Well, we've been traveling through this journey, right? From meeting each other, from knowing a little bit more about Mérida, about the Yucatecan Coast, about this beautiful country, knowing about the things that you should be aware of when you always were thinking about like Yucatan as a possible place to relocate. You already relocate, you bought the place, but now some things, you never know what's gonna happen in life. And sometimes, yes, indeed, things will change. And that's not a problem. Let's embrace the change. And when things happen and you need to move abroad and you do not want to keep your house here in Merida, Yucatan or the Yucatecan Coast, then obviously you are starting to think, who's going to sell my house? And obviously you have two options. Sell it yourself or, asking for an expert, a realtor, a real estate company, home and investment, the best experience ever in Yucatan to help you out, right? Hey Jesus, but before going into that, tell me what should I know about selling my house here in Yucatan? So in the last chapter, in the last episode, we talked about the taxes that you should be aware of when you are purchasing the property. Well, let's start thinking about taxes, then the legal matter, and then let's start thinking about the cost, right? Because yes, we obviously have a fee, or it doesn't matter if you choose Remax, Merida Living, if you choose all these different companies, Yucatan Premier, Babel Group, Mayan. There's plenty of really good real estate colleagues, which by the way, I work with. As I already mentioned in the first episodes, I am a member of the National Association of Realtors. I've been participating a lot. Even I was part of the board of directors. Then as well, I am as well part of the NAR, as I mentioned. So I do know the business. I do know the context. I as well help, as I mentioned, more than 300 clients here in this beautiful paradise. And I know how to help you as well, right? So if Merida for some reason or the Yucatecan Coast was not the right place for you, you need to move, and now you are up into the stuff that you need to sell your property, no problem. So let's start in legal matters and taxes. Taxes. The purchase, as I mentioned, needs to pay one tax, which is the purchases tax. When you are thinking about selling your property here, if it's not land, because listen up, if you bought just a lot and it was not housing, then it will change. If it's a house that you were living, then you are entitled to exempt the tax. Yes, you're not listening, you're not getting me wrong. Once again, if you are living your house, right? You have, you have the residence here and you pay your taxes for your, right? All this year you can prove that you were living here in legal terms. You want to sell your house, you are entitled to exempt the taxes up to 700 UDs, which is different currency that we have here in the country, which is up to 5 million pesos, which is around 250,000 USD. If your property is less than 250,000 USD, lesser than that, and it's housing, then you could be exempting taxes if you have one of the 5 documents that the government requests. right? Which is an ID that is the INE, which given that you're not a citizen, you will not have access to that ID, so forget about this one. But you will be entitled to present Telmex, which is the phone company, the main or the biggest company that we have here in Mexico, obviously on your name and with a specific address. So that's going to be, the evidence that you're living in that house. Or you can go and as well the electricity bill, the CFE, that bill with your name and the exact address as it is in the public register, then you should be entitled to use this document. So we have the telephone company, Telmex, or the CFE, or you can use as well a bank account, not a credit card from a foreign country. You should be opening a debit account here in Mexico with your name, obviously, your RFC, which is your tax ID number, then your CURP, which as well, when you are a resident, they will give you that number as well. And on that, then you will be able to exempt the tax, as I mentioned, within this bracket, less than 250,000 USD. Hey, Jesus, so how about if my house is 300 USD, right? 3,100 USD. That's not a problem, that you will be exempting to 250, but the 50 above that, it will be charged through a tax that it could go from up to, I would say better, up to 34% of those 50 that we're not including within this bracket, right? So yes, you should be aware of that you will be in the need to pay these taxes, right? Or you should be entitled as well to exempt the taxes if you have the right document. And we as a real estate company will be always trying to solve and help you out to get this one of these 5 documents. You don't need the 5 documents. One of these 5 documents, so you should exempt the tax, right? Then as well, you should be aware of that you will be hey Jesus, because now I'm selling my home, I will not invest one dime in my own house because I'm selling it. So bad news or good news. My advice as a company, as a leader within my company, it's always telling the property owners to obviously keep investing in your house. You don't want to sell a cow that is already dying, right? You want to sell the cow strong and in good shape, right? Perfect. Then when you're about to sell your house, you want to sell your house in good shape, right? So if it's not well painted, my suggestion will be paint your house. Then if maybe something is not working, then you should be trying to fix it as much as possible. And yes, sometimes there's some things that you might think that maybe it's not a good option, or we could be, having this discussion of what things you should be fixing and what things you maybe should be leaving. And we will be obviously sharing this information with the future owner, so he should be aware of that as well. And there's not really bad expectation in that terms, just like it happened to you. So we will be always discussing, right? What will be fixed, what will be not, and try to have your property in the best shape possible, right? So don't think that you will not be investing a dime in your property, because I believe that you should be aware of that. My suggestion is have it in the best possible shape possible, and that is going to cost you, right? So you should be aware of that, and depending on the context and the property, it's how much you will be, needing to budget to fix your property and putting it in good shape. So as well, after that, you should be aware of as well that you should be paying the real estate company a fee. This fee, normal in terms of market, is gonna go around 5% to 6% plus tax. The VAT, as you call them here in the US, here or Canada, in Mexico is IVA, right? So it's a VAT. So actually what you should be aware of is that yes, upon the final amount that you sell your house, let's imagine that it was a 300,000 USD, then you will be in the need to pay between these 5 up to 6%, depending on the packages and the number of inputs that the real estate company will be offering you to sell your house. And here's the thing that always a lot of people ask us, right? How fast can you sell your house? And here's a good deal, and this is a really good question, because I know the markets. For example, I have some friends living in Norway. In Norway, I know that within auctions, you could sell a house or property in a day. That will never happen in Mexico, to be honest, right? I know that in the US or in the UK as well, as I mentioned, I lived in the UK as well, in London, I live in US, I live in Ireland. So I know how these places move along within the real estate market, and it's completely different from the Latin American informal ways, right? So here you should be aware of that a property between, let's think, 150,000 USD up to 250,000 USD, it's gonna take around maybe 6 up to 12 months. If it's a property that it's between 250 up to maybe 600,000 USD, it's gonna take maybe between 18 up to 18 months. Oh, Jesus, but that's a long time. You know, I really need to sell my house as fast as possible, and if it's possible, within 2 weeks. Well, you know, here the Mexican market, it's really different from these different other markets that I was just sharing with you guys. There's no auctions, and there's a big demand of different people that want to move. But as I already explained, I will be making, obviously, as a service to you guys, I will be making the analysis to go and obviously ask for the right price, tell you the right things that we should be aware of, protecting you in legal terms, getting all the documents that you need to be selling your house. I will be as well delivering along with the bank, because given that you bought the house through the trust, we should always be requesting the bank, and he should be aware of that we already selling, so you will be closing the trust. Or if it's another foreigner, you sometimes could just bring the other guy into your trust and then you leave the trust, but that's as well something that we will be protecting you and taking care of that part as well. So for instance, as you already imagine, we have these taxes, we have the refurbishment expenses to have it in good shape, and then you have the admin fee of the realtor, that it's going to be 5 up to 6% plus the VAT, which is 16%, that you will need to pay to the realtor. And that's going to be maybe the things and the timing. Remember that I will say that if it's a property above 300,000 USD, maybe think about 24 months. And yes, I know that you would love to hear that it's going to be less than that, but to be honest, that's the statistics that I know between other colleagues, that we need to take this time to sell the property. So if you're in a rush, always, the best thing is obviously to decrease the price below the market, and below the market, I mean maybe 10 to 15% if you want to sell it really fast, because that's an opportunity. Sometimes some people tend to say that, okay, so I will decrease it 1% or 2%. That's not a good opportunity for someone who likes to invest in real estate. The opportunity options for them opening the market, they will be between 10 up to 15%. I know that some people even are willing to take 20% below market, so they sell it really fast. But that's not something that I will never obviously advise you. That's something that I just should mention, because if at some point you say, it's an urgency, I need it as fast as possible, and I need it, to sell it this month right away. We had clients like that in the past, and yes, it's about pricing, right? It's about having the property in the right shape, but it's about price. So if you want to have someone as quick as possible to buy the house for you, then you should be, flexible with the pricing. I know it's something that maybe you don't want to hear, but it's something that I should really be transparent with you and tell you that it's something that it will be, advised by me or any other real estate companies professional, because they're not magicians, and we are not able to sell your house within 1 month if it's on the right price or average in the market, right? So yes, that's something that you should be aware of. And obviously, if you're moving back into the US and stuff like that, Telsa, the same moving company that I mentioned, can be delivering that for you. Or if you are moving elsewhere in Europe or Africa or Asia, let us know and we can help you out on that as well. So yes, it's been a good journey so far, sharing all this different information for you guys. If you believe that now is the right time for you to sell because you're already living here in Mérida, I will be more than glad to settle a meeting. Let's have a good cup of coffee, a good beer. Let's have this conversation, and I'll be more than glad to help you out with good advice. Or if you are just thinking about, relocate to Mérida, now you have a full glimpse through all these different 5 chapters of what it's about relocating to Merida Yucatan. And I bet that there's really much more information that you are wondering. as I mentioned always at all times, let's schedule a meeting, let's have a good conversation. It doesn't matter if it's through Zoom. If you're living in Australia and we have this time lapse different, don't matter. I will be always open to really try to match the best time lapse possible for you. Let's schedule a meeting and let's talk. If you believe that this information was useful, please subscribe our channel, 2 thumbs up, the little campanita, ding, and then please obviously share your comments, your thoughts, what should be we always trying to improve within this channel, and let us know as well what the next content should be about, right? This main series of 5 chapters is about the whole process of moving into Merida, Yucatan. I really thank you guys for following us, subscribe. Obviously, if you speak Spanish, you should know that you should jump into the Home and Investment channel. If not, I'm sorry guys, but we will be delivering more English content for you. Know that our main purpose is to increment your well-being, improve your well-being. So thank you so much for following us. Let us know if we can help you. Let's schedule a meeting, and thank you so much for being here. Keep you in touch and have the best relocation that you're looking forward. Life is about adventure, and we are here to be these adventure partners with you.